Hi, I'm Chap Bettis, author of The Disciple Making Parent, and this is my audio blog, where I read some of my blog posts in audio format for your convenience. In today's episode, we're going to be thinking about greeting each other, and I would argue it's the most basic expression of love. Our children are watching how we interact at church. Over the years, I've noticed that some Christians have not mastered the most basic form of love: greeting one another. The simple act of greeting is seen by some as optional, but Christians are commanded in God's Word by precept and example to express love to one another in the most basic of ways. A quick survey of the New Testament reveals that we are commanded by God to greet one another with a holy kiss. That's Romans 16:16, 1 Corinthians 16:20, and 2 Corinthians 13:12. Greet one another with a kiss of love. 1 Peter 5:4. Greet the friends there by name, 3 John 14. Greet all your leaders and all of God's people, Hebrews 13:24. And greet not just our brothers, but our enemies. That's found from Jesus' lips in Matthew 5:47. Besides these individual commands to the believers, Paul wastes, quote unquote, wastes a whole chapter of the Bible, Romans 16, greeting different ones by name. Imagine what could have been included in that chapter, but he greets people by name. In fact, a quick survey of the New Testament reveals 28 times specific ones are greeted or told to greet. Greeting is that important. Well, then why don't we? With this command so prominent in the New Testament, why do some Christians have problems greeting one another? Well, maybe it's lack of information or training. Some Christians are ignorant that this basic expression of love is so important. Sometimes it's a lack of effort. Some Christians don't want to make the effort to greet because greeting would lead naturally to asking questions and getting to know others. Another word for this lack of effort is laziness. A third reason sometimes we don't do this is for fear. There are those who are not confident, and they'll often not take the initiative to seek out others. And fourth, a lack of love. Really, at the most basic level, this cause is a lack of love. And as we've seen, love will greet one another. So what are some applications? How should we apply this? Let me suggest 5 different ways. 1, take time before and after the service to greet one another, especially greet people you don't know and first-time visitors. 2, greet people as warmly as you feel comfortable. Shake hands, give a hug. 3, train your children to express themselves by greeting adults. This is very important. Don't excuse them for being shy. Train them not to ignore another adult, but to greet them with a, "Hello, Mr. Smith. How are you today?" Number 4, husbands and wives should greet each other at the beginning of the day and when one of them comes home to the other. What a difference a cheerful good morning makes to the start of the day. And number 5, children should greet parents when they return from a long day of work or travel. If the father works outside the home, then saying, "Hey, Dad," when he returns is just basic manners. Greeting each other is a most basic expression of love. We're even to greet our enemies. How are we doing? Thank you for listening to the Disciple Making Parent audio blog. Did you know we have another podcast? It's a long-form podcast where I put up things that might equip you for family discipleship. So simply go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your own podcast provider and search for the Disciple Making Parent podcast. And while I'm telling you about this, let me encourage you, leave us a rating or review. Both of those small things helps other listeners find our show. Thanks for listening.